Wow, we are here for episode number 32 of Wyatt Zang's College Football Show. I am Wyatt Zang. We have a lot to jump into, and I mean a lot. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are watching live, thank you very much. If you guys are watching the replay, the show is going to be just as good. We are absolutely jam-packed. And when I mean jam-packed, I mean 5 solid segments we're going to dive into. It is an absolutely jam-packed show. As I said, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. You can see here on the screen what we're going to be jumping into. We got college football head coach top 10 rankings. We're going to be ranking the top 10 head coaches in college football. It's going to be my top 10. I'm interested to know what your guys' top 10 will be when I release mine and what you like and don't like about my top 10. So I want feedback on that. All right. We are a show of feedback here. I also want to talk about what are the biggest, what college football teams will be better or worse in 2026? We've done this segment already this year, and I want to run it back. I want to run it back for part 2. Part 1, we did Georgia, A&M, and USC. Part 2, we're going to jump into some teams here in a second, or in the second segment. And then the biggest Big Ten what-ifs. What are the biggest Big Ten what-ifs in college football? There's a lot of Big Ten what-ifs in terms of, what if Michigan's good this year? There's so many things to dive into. I have 3 what-ifs for the Big Ten I'm going to be diving into in tonight's show. We also have South Carolina program preview. That is also something we're going to be jumping into. We've been doing a program preview segment every single show. So I think I've done Florida State. We've done Florida, Oklahoma State. We've done Texas. We've done Michigan. And now we're going to jump into South Carolina. Comment down below what other teams we should do, because I'd like to get a lot of the teams, at least a lot of the Power 4 teams, done in before August. I'd love to. I really would. So we got that, and then we got bold predictions. Just a fun segment to do at the end there is bold predictions. I love doing bold predictions. It's one of my highlights of the show is we get to dive into your guys' fun bold predictions. So that's the show. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys, like the video. Comment. I want to know your guys' comments. And yeah, let's dive right into the show. Like I said, it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be one of those shows that we kind of just can have fun. You can have fun during the show. We like to have a fun show. Appreciate you guys for watching. It means a lot. Get in the live chat as well. Get busy in the live chat. That's another thing. We don't really have a ton of live chat interaction. Let's get that thing going. Maybe at the end of the show, we can just go through the live chat or during the show. All right. Let's jump into our first segment. College football head coach top 10. What are the top 10 head coaches in college football, at least in my opinion? This is going to be my top 10. I've taken this through kind of the last 3 years and kind of what you've done as a head coach in the last 3 to 5 years. That's what I'm taking into account. I'd say about 3 to 5 years. I'd say since 2020, 2021. What have you done as a head coach? I'm going to be going over that. I have my top 10. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's a really good top 10, but we'll see what your guys' top 10 is. Let me know in the comments below. But starting at number 10, we can go ahead and dive into number 10. It's Kyle Whittingham. And this is controversial. I've seen him in other people's top 10s. I think I saw him in Joel Klatt's top 10. He was number 8 or number 7. He was somewhere in there. Here's my reasoning for why I have Michigan at number 10. Why I have Kyle Whittingham at Michigan at number 10. Because he had Utah as a contender, a consistent college football, playoff contender, at least in 12-team playoff. He was always there, outside looking in. I think he was ranked 15th this past year. So he was on the outside looking in. Every single year, he was just so close. Just couldn't get over the edge. But he finally, is going to Michigan, a school where they have what it takes to, for him to get over the hump and to him to get to the playoff. Michigan is the school to do it this year, honestly. But he's been so consistent at Utah. That is the reason I have him there. He's the second longest tenured head coach as well, right behind Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. So he's just done it for a really long time. He has 18 winning seasons out of 21. That's incredible. He's 177-88 as his overall record. The guy just knows how to win, and he does it very well. A lot of coaches out there can win, but can they win consistently? For instance, I'm trying to look at someone we're going to have on this list. Like Mario Cristobal. We're going to get him. He's on this list. Can he win consistently? Cal Whittingham has won consistently. So that's why I have him at number 10. All right, moving on to number 8 is LSU's Lane Kiffin. It's crazy to say LSU's Lane Kiffin. Basically, the reason he's on my top 10 is he took Ole Miss, a team that was not known for really doing much, and he kind of made them relevant, to be honest with you. Ole Miss was not that relevant before he got there. He got there and kind of made them relevant. So that's why I have him in my top 10, because he kind of made them relevant, and that's a big thing. He's 117 and 53 as his overall record. He is 55 and 19 at Ole Miss. The guy just wins. He's like Kyle Whittingham. He just wins. He's a very good recruiter, plus a portal, talent acquisition coach. Like, he can get talent at a very high level too. Like, not like behind anyone. He's never really he wasn't like Ole Miss, just an average class. Ole Miss was top in the portal every year and decent in recruiting. Now he's at LSU, where he can be a top 5, top 3, number 1 recruiting class potential, and he can get more in the portal. He is at a place where he's going to win consistently. But the reason I have him here is because of his past successes. The last few years at Ole Miss have been really, really good. So that's why I have him here at number 9. And number 8, Mario Cristobal. This is a coach that, again, I just think that in terms of what he's done in the last 3 years, really jumps out at me. Now, he hasn't won anything really in the last 5 years, until this year. If you take back the 5 years, maybe he falls a spot. But the last 3 years, he has a 7-5, or he has a 5-7 in 2022, 7-5 in 2023, 10-3 in 2024, and 13-3 in 2025 national championship runner-ups. So Miami, the reason I have Mario Cristobal at number 8 is because, like I said, he kind of rebuilt Miami to being back on the national stage. And he also he's been better every single year. 5-7, 7-5, 10-3, 13-3. He's been better record every single year. So it's hard to discount that when a guy just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. So it's tough to come by. It's tough to come by. That's what I was trying to say there. It's tough to come by a coach that wins that high. He was at Miami. He's at Oregon. He's at FIU. I think 07 to 2012. He was, or 07 to 2012. He was at FIU. 2017 to 2021. He was at Oregon. So he's been a good coach. He's a 97 and 79 record overall. So he's a good coach. There's not anything that's kind of holding him back in terms of being ranked number 8. I think he's properly ranked. Going into number 7 now. Number 7 is debatable. I think a lot of you guys are going to get in the comments on number 7, and it is Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is my number 7 head coach, and the reason I have him at number 7 is because he has had immense success at places other than Bama in the last 3 to 5 years. So if you look at him, rough start to his Bama career. We know that. We know he's had a rough start to his Bama career, and that's fine. Not everyone, but some guys have to just take time at their new place, and I think he's going to take time. He's amazing at Washington. The guy was 20-8 at Alabama. That's not horrible. It's not egregious. He was 14-1, college football playoff runner-up at Washington. He, one game away from winning a national championship. Lost to Michigan in the championship in 2023. So he's up there. That's why I have him ahead of Mario Cristobal, because I think Mario Cristobal has a 5-7, a 7-5 season baked in the last 4 or 5 years. Kalen DeBoer doesn't. Kalen DeBoer's 124-20 as an all-time record. That's insane. The guy's 25-3 at Washington. So he's only lost 11 games in the last 5 years, 5-6 years. So he's a really good coach. The last 5 years, he's only lost 11 games. Let's be honest, that's hard. That's hard to do. It's pretty incredible there. So the reason I have him there is you guys just got a sneak peek on who the next guy is, the graphic glitch there for a second. But the reason I have him there is because, like I said, success at Washington. And hopefully he has success at Alabama, but we'll see. All right, number 6, you guys just saw it there. Steve Sarkisian at Texas is my number 6 head coach. I think he's another guy that is similar to like a few guys that we'll get to on this list that have had immense regular season success. Like, I mean, really good at Texas in terms of being a contender every year. I mean, he's 94 and 55 all time. He's amazing regular season success, like I said, but he just hasn't had a lot of playoff success. And that's something that really sticks out to a lot of people when they rank, Steve Sarkisian. They say, well, what has he won? I do not like when people bring up the argument, what has he won? Well, it doesn't matter what he's won if he wins like 11 games a season. It doesn't matter if he's had playoff success at that point. If the guy hasn't had a losing season his whole career. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, the guy is 48-20 at Texas. He's just a solid head coach. He just has been winning at Texas. You can't discount a guy that just wins. So that's why I have him there. Number 5 is Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman is number 5. I mean, he's a great head coach. Overall record of 43-12 at Notre Dame. First head coaching job, I'm pretty sure. 14-5 versus ranked teams. It's really good. Really good. Solid head coach with tons of potential. And, of course, national championship runner-up in 2024 to Ohio State. So, again, he's just an excellent head coach. He's another guy, similar to Steve Sarkisian, who hasn't had a ton of playoff success other than the national championship run, which is good enough in his own right. But they have had some playoff success, and they also haven't. And, they missed the playoffs this last year. They opted out of a bowl game, which is a whole different conversation. But, yeah, they missed the playoffs this past year. A few years ago, they were 11-3, missed the 14 playoff. So, again, he's just won. He just wins in the regular season. So that's why I have him at number 5. Number 4 is Dan Lanning at Oregon. A lot of people really like Dan Lanning in Oregon, and I really like Dan Lanning in Oregon. And then there's a lot of people that bring up the argument of what has he won? Well, I could tell you what he's won. He has gone 10-3, 12-2, 13-1, undefeated season, lost in the playoff, 13-2. He has Oregon as a national championship contender every season, similar to Marcus Freeman, and he has a Big Ten title. He walked into the Big Ten in, his first year in the Big Ten, won the title. I mean, come on. That is hard to do. You walk into the Big Ten, and in 1 year, you win the title. It's impressive. Was that I think it was his first year, but like I said, he just has a little bit more playoff success than Marcus Freeman in terms of, more than Steve Sarkisian is what I meant to say. Just in terms of, he's been doing it a little longer than Marcus Freeman, so that's what gives him the slight edge over Marcus Freeman. But like I said, he's just a really solid head coach with a lot of guys on this list. Number 3 is a guy we can get to here. Number 3 is Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti is number 3. A lot of people probably are looking at this list saying, well, that's dumb. Curt Cignetti's like the number 1 head coach right now. He's doing incredible. Not when you take into account the last, 3-5 years. Because if you take into account the last 5 years, yes, has had a lot of success. But that was at like James Madison and stuff. So it's not like he's been a Power 4 coach doing it for 5 years and just been insane every single year. Yes, he went 16-0 and won the title and did the fastest rebuild of a program I've ever seen. I mean, yes, he's 146-33 and 37 as a head coach. Yes, he is a national championship. Yes, he has, Big Ten AP Coach of the Year in 2024 and 2025. It just, when you really look at it, when you really dive into it, he just hasn't done it for long enough. Soon, he's only going to climb his way up the rankings, I believe at least. But the 2 guys I have ahead of him are guys that have been doing it for a long time at the highest level. Curt Cignetti's been doing it at the highest level for about 2-3 years. So I really can't justify putting him any higher because he hasn't done it long enough. Longer than these next 2 guys that I'll name. And the next 2 guys, number 2 is Ryan Day at Ohio State. A lot of people, look at that and they say, okay, well, Curt Cignetti just beat him. He just beat him this year. 1 year. Okay, 1 year sample size. Ryan Day has a career record of 75-10 as a head coach. He is 12-2 in 2025, 14-2 in 2024. I mean, national championship contender, 11-2 in 2023. He has Ohio State as a literal top 3 championship contender every single year. His record versus top 10 teams, James Franklin wishes he had this, is 16-10. He's 2-4 against Michigan. Yes, they have slight Michigan problem, but they're starting to overcome. They've gone to therapy and they're starting to overcome that Michigan problem. They're starting to figure it out there, at least in the last couple months here. So that's why I have him as my number 1 or as my number 2. He's just been so consistent at Ohio State. And then number 1 is Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart is one of the best head coaches, if not the best head coach in the last 5 years, discounting Nick Saban. I just think when you really look at it, you really look at what he's done at Georgia in the last 5 years, it's been incredible. He's 117-21 at Georgia. He is AP. This is a cool stat right here. His AP finishes in the last, 7 years has been 6th, 4th, 1st, national champions, 7th, 4th, 7th, and 2nd. The guy has not finished outside the top 10 in the last 9 years. The last 9 years, he has not finished outside the top 10 at the end of the year. That is insane. I don't know if you realize how just insane that is. To have that success for that long is incredible. And a lot of people would say, well, okay, it's Georgia. Anyone can have success there. Well, it's Ohio State. Anyone can have success there. It's Notre Dame. It's Alabama. It's Miami. He's doing it at the highest level you possibly can for the longest time you possibly can. So that's why I have Kirby Smart as my number 1 head coach. He's just been doing it at Georgia. The guy's been an awesome head coach. So here's my top 10. You have Kyle Whittingham at 10, Lane Kiffin at 9, Mario at 8, Kalen DeBoer at 7, Sarkisian at 6, Freeman at 5, Lanning at 4, Cignetti at 3, Ryan Day at 2, and Kirby Smart at 1. That's just, in my opinion, my rankings. Your rankings would be different, I'm sure. It's not going to be the exact same. But hey, maybe your top 3 is the same. Maybe your number 1's the same. Let me know in the live chat if you're watching live. And if you're not, let me know in the comments what your top 10 is. Or let me know in the comments what you like about mine, what you dislike about mine. Just let me know. I really would love to know what you like and what you don't about it. Because honestly, I'm going to be honest, I like it. But again, that's because it's my list. So that is my full 2026 head coach top 10 rankings. We'll see you guys next year to do probably the exact same thing. All right, that was a good segment. I do want to check on the live chat, see how we're doing. Got some good viewers so far. Some good viewing on the show. And we're only one segment in. We're only 18 minutes into the show. Would you look at that? We already got some good viewers. All right. Real quick, before we jump into the next segment, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys like the video. And like I said, throw a comment in there. I love responding to your guys' comments. And then you could see it on the screen. I guess on this one, it would be right there. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm just pointing to something. If you're watching on podcast, forget what I'm doing right now. Pointing to, follow. You can subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast feed, and follow me on Twitter at Wyatt Zang CFB, or join the Discord. Links in the description. And yeah. All right. I guess we can jump into our next segment here. It's going to be a fun one. It is a fun one. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick before we do. I guess it's not water. Got something different. Got some tea tonight on the show. All right. What college football teams will be better or worse in 2026? That is the question people are talking about right now, is trying to project. Wow, I can't talk. Project what teams will be in 2026. For instance, like last week or 3 weeks ago, but last time I did this segment, I did Georgia, A&M, and USC. A lot of the conversations around A&M, Georgia, and USC were, with Georgia. Are they going to be better or worse? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. A&M, probably a step back. USC, I think a step forward. So there's certain teams and certain expectations for teams, but we're going to do about 3 per show. I got 3 right here. 3 more we're going to do. And number 1 that I want to start off with is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That is correct. In 2025, they were 7-6, 4-5 in the Big Ten. They were not very good. Fast start to the season, though. I have to admit. I almost had a burp there. Fastest start to the season that you could possibly have. 3-0, winning Cincinnati, Houston, and Akron. So they had some decent wins to start the season. Started off nice and fast. But then they lost the last 3 games of the season. Really kind of showed Nebraska's true colors. And it was not good. Because Nebraska lost the last 3 games by at least 3 touchdowns. So the end of the season left a bad taste in their mouth. But the question is, can they bounce back? And if so, what will they look like? Well, as you guys know, if you're a Nebraska fan, Matt Rhule was the head coach there. And Matt Rhule in year 3 is magic. Because when he was at Temple, his year 3 record was 10-4. When he was at Baylor, his year 3 record, take any guesses, 11-3. So Matt Rhule, the year 3, it's the role. The year 3 role is you're going to have a winning season. Double-digit wins. So the question is, can we get plus 4 wins in 2026? Can we get a 9+ win season? Maybe. We'll see. We're going to dive into it. I'm very excited to see this year what they can be. So that was last season. What is this season? Well, their schedule is versus Ohio. They have Bowling Green on the schedule, North Dakota, Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Rutgers, Ohio State, and Iowa. I only see 3 tough games on that schedule. That's Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. So I think best case scenario for Nebraska is probably 10-2. Get one of those tough wins. And worst case, I see a 6-6 here. I do. Hey, Nebraska fans, worst case, you're making a bowl game. That's something to look forward to. And my pick is 9-3. So Nebraska, 9-win season. That'd be my pick. And I think that's what's going to happen. Like I said, tough schedule or easy schedule, but there's definitely some tough games on there. But I think they'll be fine. I think 9-3 is my pick. All right. Next is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a team I'm keeping my eye on. John Mateer returns. That's a big thing. A big thing with Oklahoma is the fact that John Mateer is returning. A lot of people kind of didn't keep an eye on this. It wasn't like the biggest story, and no one really is super high on Oklahoma. I can tell you one thing. I am drinking the Oklahoma Kool-Aid, that is for sure. I am the most high on Oklahoma this year than any team in college football in terms of a comeback year. Now, when I say comeback year, you might be thinking, well, Oklahoma made the playoffs last year. How's it going to be a comeback year? I'm here to tell you, I think Oklahoma's going to make a deep playoff run. I know this is a hot take in the spring, or I guess you could say it's spring now. But it's a hot take, I know right now. But I just think so. I really do think that Oklahoma is going to come back with a really good team. Brent Venables is always going to have a good defense. John Mateer in year 2 at Oklahoma, I think that's a recipe for a potential Heisman. That's a recipe for a potential, deep playoff run. So give me, Oklahoma as better. I think Oklahoma's going to be better. I really do believe so. I have their best case is 11-1, their worst case 7-5, and my prediction is 10-2. Might be thinking, well, that's the same record. Yes, but I think they're going to have more playoff success this year. All right. Next up is Ole Miss. Ole Miss is the next team that I have on this list. I think Ole Miss is going to be a very, very, fun team to watch, a very, very interesting team, and a very unknown team. Because, yes, Trinidad Chambliss returns. That is correct. But do we know what is going to be the team around him? Well, looking at it, seems like they should have a decent team around them. Now, a really amazing year in 2025. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss returns, like I said. Kiffin left. Golding took over. The Final Four in the 2025 College Football Playoff semifinals. It's tough to do better than 2025. It really is tough to do better than a Final Four finish for Ole Miss. So, with that being said, I will pick worse. but not by much. When I say worse, I mean like 10-2, maybe a playoff win, maybe lose in the first round. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. Best case, 11-1. There is an 11-1 on the schedule. Worst case, 7-5. My prediction, 10-2. I think they're going to be a 10-2 team. Sneak their way into like a 10 seed in the playoffs, something like that, 10-11 seed. We'll see. We will see. But I think that they're going to be a very solid team, especially heading into 2026, because 2025 they were pretty solid. There's only, as they say, anyone with returning starters is just going to automatically be better, right? It's not true, but I think it could be true here. But I don't think they're going to quite be a Final Four team. So with that being said, I am unfortunately going to have to pick them to be worse in 2026. But like I said, it's not going to be by much. It's not going to be by much. All right. That is my better or worse in 2026 segment. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of some of these teams, whether you think they're going to be better or worse, and let me know what you guys think of your team. What's your favorite team? Do you think they're going to be better or worse? And let me know what team I should do next. I love your guys' feedback. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next segment here in a second. But again, I do want to mention that you can follow me on Twitter at Wyatt Zang CFB, because there's a lot of show updates. Number one, you get all the show updates on there, and you just get college football news. I'll break college football news on there, let you know what's going on with the show. It's a win-win, especially if you like the show. It's a win-win. It's a must follow. I mean, we got like 3,000 subscribers on the channel and well under 50 followers on Twitter so far. Now it is new, but still, we got to get that going a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think we can. I do think we can get it going. All right. Decent viewership so far throughout the show. Just gonna paste something in there. If you see someone in the live chat, that's just me. Yes, we are live. The prove we're live right there. All right. You jump right into this segment. Big Ten what ifs. What are the biggest what ifs in the Big Ten in 2025? A lot of people have different mixed opinions of what the biggest what ifs are in the Big Ten. Well, I'm here to tell you I got 3 of them, and they're with maybe the top 3 programs in the Big Ten. I got big what ifs with them. Starting off with Penn State. Penn State's a question mark team, because I think that there is a breakout year potential for Penn State, and I really think that there's a not breakout year. But I'm here to tell you I'm on the breakout year side. I think Penn State's going to be a really good team. And when I show you their schedule, you're going to agree with me. Here is their schedule. We're going to jump into this. They have one of the easiest schedules I have ever seen. We'll jump into it here in a second. But the question mark is, what if Penn State's like good? Like 11+ win good? Well, I think it could happen. They have one of the easiest schedules in the Big Ten, like I said. They have only like 2 decent games. And if you're listening on podcasts, it's USC and Michigan. Here's their schedule. They have Marshall at home, at Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, at Northwestern, USC, at Michigan, Purdue, at Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, and at Maryland. If you're listening on podcast, there is no more games. That was not a joke. That was not a G5 schedule. That was Penn State's schedule. And looking at it, they have 2 back-to-back tough games. I think they'll go 1-for-1 in those games. I really do. So, to be quite honest with you, I see an 11-1 season here. And that might be crazy to say, but I really do. I think that Northwestern, Wisconsin, Buffalo, Temple, Marshall, I mean, you're starting the year hot, probably 5-0. Then you got USC, Michigan, 2 decent games. I think you could go 1-for-1. You got Purdue, Washington, Minnesota, Rutgers, Maryland. I think you could win those. Washington's a tough one, but I think you could win that. Obviously, there's a new head coach there, Matt Campbell. Rocco Becht is former Iowa State quarterback, newly Penn State. I'm excited to see what he does there. I think there's a lot of potential for him, and there's a lot of excitement around him, so that will be interesting. Like I said, preseason expectations are high. They're ranked, I think, between like 17 and 20 in the AP poll, in terms of different people's rankings. They're somewhere in that range. I think Penn State has a great chance to have an 11-win season. I mean, Matt Campbell's the right guy. Easily the right guy for Penn State. There's no what if for Matt Campbell, but there is a what if for Penn State. So I think Penn State's definitely going to be on this list. And I think that could be really good. All right, next what if is Oregon. Oregon's a what if because what if Oregon failed? Now, this is like, before I say this, I do want to say that it's not the worst thing in the world for Oregon if this happens, but it would be a disappointment for a lot of the fans. What if Oregon fails in the college football playoff again? What I mean by again is they haven't had much playoff success. They haven't really won a ton of games in the playoff. So, you know, when you look at Dan Lanning and you look at what he's done at Oregon, like I said, not a ton of playoff success. But some good news is Dante Moore's returning for 2026. He's a Heisman finalist favorite. New offensive coordinator, Drew Meringer. I don't know how to say that name. He's promoted from within, a new offensive coordinator there. So there's a lot of hype around this Oregon team. There really is. I mean, when you look at their schedule, it's not anything out of this world. Like, they got Ohio State, Michigan is on the schedule, USC's on the schedule, Oklahoma State, Boise. Other than that, it's not too tough. I mean, Washington at the end of the year. So this is manageable schedule. So the schedule will not be the issue. But when you look at, you know, some of their roster, Dante Moore coming back, DeCorian Moore, the wide receiver there, will absolutely love him. He's going to be a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore wide receiver. Can't wait for him. And DB Brandon Finney Jr. I cannot wait for Brandon Finney. He is going to be a freshman or sophomore DB. I cannot wait to see what he can do in the secondary. And then DeCorian Moore and Dante Moore on the offensive side of the ball. It's just a great combo. You want to have a combo like that. So I think they'll have a manageable schedule. You know, like I said, they got a few tough games, nothing out of this world. So with all that being said, what if they fall short again? What if Oregon, with this easier schedule, with this manageable schedule, with Dante Moore, a Heisman contender, coming back, DeCorian Moore, all these young guys around their offense and defense, what if they fall short again? What if they don't make it? What if they make it to the playoff? But what if they lose in the first or second round? Well, you're not going to have hot seat around Dan Lanning, that's for sure. Dan Lanning is not going to get fired, even if he misses the playoffs. But there would be talk of, man, is Dan Lanning the guy that's going to win us the championship? Might be thinking, well, that's dumb. That's just exactly what you said that wasn't going to happen. There's a difference between hot seat and thinking, is this the guy that's going to win us the championship? There's a difference in that. So what I'm saying is, what if Oregon falls short? Well, hopefully we don't have to find out. But if they do, I don't want to be in the Oregon fan base or Oregon staff if they fall short, because Oregon fans are kind of tired of it and they're ready to have some success. And I think you will. But it is a what if. After all, these are all what ifs. So, all right. Next one, last but not least, is what if Ohio State has a 3+ loss season? If that would happen, the Big Ten would be wide open, because you have Penn State with one of the easiest schedules, Oregon with a decent one. So, Ohio State has the toughest schedule in the Big Ten. I'll toss their schedule up on the screen here. Literally the easiest schedule, or the hardest schedule I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, you have Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith returning, but there's still 3-loss potential here. There's more than 3-loss potential. They go at Texas in week 2. They have at Indiana and at USC back-to-back. There is a bye week in between there, but it is back-to-back games. Then they have versus Oregon and Michigan at the end of the year. So you have, like I said, you could lose to Texas. I could see you losing to Texas. Indiana's a losable game. Oregon's a losable game. Maybe you beat Michigan. We can't even pencil Michigan in as a win, even if Michigan's the worst team in the country. And then USC's not an easy one. There is no easy, out of these 5 games, I don't see anyone that's easy. So it's going to be a tough road for Ohio State. A 10-2 season is a win in my book, because that means you got 3 quality wins. But, if you get more than 10 wins, excellent year for Ohio State. Like I said, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough to have success this year. But, I mean, I believe in Ryan Day. I mean, hopefully he won't let that happen because I do think that Ryan Day is one of the best coaches. I mean, I had him at number 2 in my head coach rankings that we just did a couple minutes ago. So I would definitely say that I don't think Ohio State's going to have that downhill of a season, but I do think there is potential of a 3-loss season, maybe more. But hey, it's not going to be 2-10. I can promise you that. They're at least going to make a bowl game. So that is my biggest what ifs in the Big Ten. There's a lot of Big Ten what ifs. We'll probably get to some more in the SEC or the ACC or the Big 12 within the coming weeks. But yeah, that is my biggest Big Ten what ifs. Got 3 of them. I think if those things happen, it'd be a crazy year in college football, which, I mean, I'm all for craziness in college football. Who isn't, after all? Who isn't? We all love, spice up college football a little bit. It's already one of the greatest sports in the world. So, yeah. Take a drink of water real quick, and then we will jump right into the last 2 segments. This next one about South Carolina. There was a lot of teams I could have picked for this one, but South Carolina just seemed like the most interesting one. Quick live chat check. Doing good. Decent viewership. We're doing all right here. All right. We can dive right in. South Carolina program preview. The question is with South Carolina is where is their program right now? Because expectations for South Carolina have been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I mean, they're coming off a 4-8 season this past year, so we don't quite know what this year is going to look like. They're kind of a wild card team, but they do have a lot of potential, a lot of skill, and a lot of talent. So we'll dive right into that. They have to do better in 2026, definitely. That's a given. I think they will. New offensive staff. They have OC Kendall Briles from TCU coming in as new OC. I mean, they brought in some other positions. They filled like the running backs coach spot. So they filled some spots on their coaching staff and upgraded. And I think it's going to pay off. I think they're going to be a very solid team. And like I said, there's questions, but I think they can provide answers because this team isn't bad roster-wise. I mean, they got Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbor at wide receiver, Dylan Stewart, edge rusher. Like, they have athletes. Like, those 3 guys are going to be first-round picks in 2026, most likely. I'd be shocked if they weren't. I guess that'd be 2027 draft, but those guys are going to be awesome. I mean, there's high potential and high expectations. Shane Beamer needs to win this season. That's one of the things I wrote down. When you look at what Shane Beamer did as his coaching career, he's 33-30 at South Carolina. It's not anything to write home about, but it is a very, very decent record. I'm sorry, I think that's not just South Carolina. That's like his coaching record. But he's the 2024 SEC Head Coach of the Year. Well worth it, or well, earned. He's the most wins versus top 10 teams in South Carolina history. I'm literally reading off of a graphic. And I hope I never do that again because that was like, the information's already there. I'm just like telling it you again. Like, I don't want to do that. If you're listening on podcast, though, I got to tell you. But if you're on YouTube, I'm basically just read off of a graphic that you can already see. So that was useless. But yeah, he's a really good head coach. I think that he can I think he could take this team to the next level. Like, I'm talking like when you look at their schedule, we'll toss their schedule up here. When you look at this schedule, there's potential of real contention. I mean, they have Alabama, tough game against Alabama. They got Florida, they got Tennessee, Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and Clemson. Tough games, but if you're good, I think you could pull off a Bama or a Tennessee or an Oklahoma upset. Maybe pull off an A&M upset. Maybe beat Clemson at the end of the year. They've been down. I see an 8-4. I see a 9-3 on this schedule as my prediction. But I think best case is, if you're listening on podcast, nothing's wrong with the audio. I'm just pausing and thinking. Best case, I feel like, do I say 10-2? Best case is 10-2. My prediction 9-3. Worst case, like 5-7. there is a worst case where just nothing improves and it's 5-7. I think that's like their worst case. So best case, 10-2. My prediction, 9-3. Worst case is 5-7. But overall, I think that they're going to be an excellent team in 2026. I think that there is for real like hype around them that is earned. So I do think that they're going to be a contender this upcoming year and years to come under Shane Beamer. I do think that. I think Shane Beamer is going to be the guy to lead them to the promised land, hopefully. But just get them a solid 9-win season. 10 wins make the playoffs would be awesome. But again, South Carolina having Nick Harbor, Lenore Sellers, and Dylan Stewart is just insane. It's all first-round pick athletes. So, again, I hope that they really do figure it out, and I hope that they become a really good program because I love to see South Carolina as a good program. I always root for South Carolina just because I've always wanted them to be a solid program. So that's my South Carolina program check-in as of 2026. We got bold predictions here in a second. It's big. Bold predictions is always my favorite segment. Always my favorite segment. If you have any bold predictions, go ahead and do me a favor and put them in the live chat just right now, or put them in the comments if you're watching this, regular live show on replay. Again, this won't be in the video cut. I cut these videos up in individual segments, so this won't be in the individual segment cut. But this next part will. It's time to jump into viewer bold predictions for 2026. This is my favorite segment by far. I love doing this segment, going over viewers' bold predictions. It's always fun at the end of the year to go back and kind of look at like what predictions hit and what predictions didn't. Especially if I have like a rate one like a 10 on the boldness scale, then it's like, whoa, that's insane that one actually hit. Or you put one like a 7 and it doesn't even hit. It's like, wow, that was bad. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one here has to do with the Heisman. Interesting. Evan Marshall hit me up and said, in 2026, the Heisman winner doesn't make the playoff. That's not insanely bold. That's not like out of this world bold. I think that there's potential of this. I really do think so. Because, we saw Travis Hunter win the Heisman 2 years ago, and he did not make the playoff. This past year was for Mendoza. He won the national championship. But we've seen this before. I think it's definitely in the 12-team era. It's a lot harder, but I think it is definitely a possibility. So I'm going to make it an 8.6 because we've seen it within the last 2 years. And I think if Lenora Sellers wins the Heisman and they're 9-3 right outside the playoff, or like a Trinidad Chambliss wins the Heisman and they're 9-3. So I do think that there's potential of it. So it's not like insanely bold, but I do think that would be interesting to see. All right, that's an 8.6. Next was Colin hit me up and said, in 2026, the national championship is a rematch of regular season game. So a regular season game is played, and then it rematches in the college football playoff national championship. This is bold. Now, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to bold prediction. Give me a 9.5 on the boldness scale. I do think that's a pretty interesting one. Very creative. I do like that. But again, 9.5, it's going to be tough to envision this because, we've seen the same matchup in the SEC championship, but to see it twice in the regular season and the championship, I don't think it's ever happened. I don't believe so. Like Michigan, Washington never played each other. Ohio State, Notre Dame didn't play each other. This past year, Indiana, Miami didn't play each other. So it's possible, but it's not impossible, but it is pretty impossible. Like it's not impossible, but it's pretty impossible. Be tough to see it happen. So give me a 9.5 on the boldness scale. All right, lastly, just 3 tonight. Next week we'll have more. Trevor hit me up and said a non-QB wins the Heisman in 2026. Another Heisman thing. I do think that's interesting. A non-QB wins the Heisman in 2026. I would love to see this happen because I think it doesn't happen often enough. Travis Hunter just did it in 2023. But other than that, Mendoza did it. Jaden Daniels, I think, was in 2023. Just quarterbacks win it like literally every 5 years, maybe every 3 years you'll see it happen. But I think with all the quarterbacks, when Dante Moore and Julian Sayin and Arch Manning and Darian Mensah, Trinidad Chan John Mateer. There's so many quarterbacks, Lenore Sellers, so many quarterbacks in this year's class that I think that that's going to be pretty tough to envision. So it's not impossible, but it is tough. So I'm going to scratch out what I have written, and I'm going to put that as a 9.8 on the boldness scale. Now, I'm going to go a 10. I'm going to go ahead and say if that hits, that's a 10, and you deserve it because that's a tough one to predict. Give me a 10 on the boldness scale. It's a tough one to envision, but it definitely could happen. Definitely could happen. I'd love to see that happen. But yeah, that is bold predictions for 2026. We'll do the segment again next week. It's always a fun one to dive into. That is also the show. That is not only the bold predictions, but that is also the show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We have had, 45-minute show going so far? 45-minute show. So pretty good. Pretty good. I'll take it. We're pushing around like the 45, 50 minutes right now in the off season. But yeah, it's been going good. Now, real quick, before I get you guys out of here, I do want to mention that I might be doing something on a Thursday or Friday, depending on, what we'll see, what we can get scheduled. Like, it probably wouldn't be from the studio. It would be just at my house. I would film something, like a quick segment. I do maybe want to do, like, all-time head coaches list, like a top 10 all-time. Like, I'm talking, like, maybe of the past, 30 years. I think that'd be fun. Get guys like Nick Saban, Steve Spurrier on there, Urban Meyer, guys like that. Do a fun one within the past, 30 years or something. So I'm probably going to do that on Thursday or Friday. And if not, I'll let you guys know, and I will do it on the Monday show next week. So if all else fails, we'll see you guys back here, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Monday next week. Same here, right here on the channel. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast feed, wherever you get your podcast. Follow me on Twitter. Appreciate you guys for watching. I really do. We'll see you guys next week, same time. Hope you guys have a great start to your week, and God bless.